Hey y'all, good morning. What's going on? So we're gonna try this live on my phone. I don't know, for some reason on my I don't know what my okay, I was looking for my microphone. So we're gonna try it on here right quick because I tried it on my laptop. Not really. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna try this on here. I'm gonna try to be on here for like about 10 minutes or something. Just to see if it'll pick up better on here. Cause some reason, even though I like doing the live on my laptop, it's not really it's not really picking up. Well, at least I think that's what the problem is that I'm doing it on that device instead of on my phone. I think that's the problem. But we about to test that theory right now. We about to test that out to see if that's the truth. Okay, I need to charge my microphone. Yeah, I'm trying to test that theory. Is it that I'm on that laptop? Because the problem didn't start until to the laptop. Like before that, I didn't have a problem. Like I would get on this live and people would connect in about a couple of minutes or 3 minutes. So I'm gonna say it's probably the laptop. I'm gonna say that it's because I'm on that device. It probably is not letting people know I'm going live or something. I don't know. But we're gonna test this theory on this Saturday. How y'all doing this Saturday? So we're gonna be talking about a few different things today. The Saturday reset. I got my prompts over here, like what I'm gonna be talking about. So that's on my laptop. So I probably look over here and then look back at you because I got the setup to where I'm talking about a few different things, but I want to give people a chance to kind of come in and join if that's even possible. Um, yeah, if that's even possible. So I don't know. I think like I said, I think it's the device because I'm on a laptop, and for some reason the configure. I think that this is. That's what I think. But of course, I don't know until I test it out on here. And I've been consistent. I've been doing do a live about every day. Okay, it is the laptop. We see it is because we got at least 2 people now. So it's the laptop. The laptop was causing the trouble, I guess. For some reason on there, it's not pushing out the video. I don't know why it's doing it like that. What's up, what's insane? What's up, my friend? Insane on there, on here. What's going on? We're gonna be talking today. We're gonna talk about a few different languages and different things. We're gonna be talking today. Okay, let me see. I need to turn off this because it translates into French. Even though I speak French, come on, but I'm good. I'm doing good. I can still see what it say. I'm doing really good. But I just want to turn it off so it can be so you can just see. Well, so I can just see English, even though I speak French too. So first of all, this is the Saturday reset. This is the language and hustle vibes. This is the language and hustle vibes. So first of all, I want to greet everybody this year. Greetings to everybody. Y'all happy Saturday. Thanks for being here. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Originally, I got the southern accent. I'm from where they eat the sweet potato pie, the mustard greens, the all the good soul food. That's where I'm from. And where are you from? So we're gonna start off greeting everyone, even if it's one person. What up, homie? What's up, El Lajasia Asili? Y'all hit the subscribe button if y'all feeling the vibe. 1993 spring break 93. Okay, I'm greeting everybody. So, and I'm gonna give y'all the intro of who I am. Right? We're gonna start with the intro. We're trying to greet everybody first. You said, welcome everyone. Please like, share, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to watch more enjoy. Yeah, please, y'all do that. Y'all do that. Y'all activate that bell. Y'all share. Y'all subscribe. Please like. Okay, we got Halo from Indonesia, my G. Ayo, you look like Kendrick Lamar. Oh yeah, I like that Poetic Justice. That Poetic Justice is the jam. Like that take me back to 2013. Yeah, so we got Australia in the house. Who else we got? Do we got somebody from the South in here? Somebody from the South Southern Soul, or somebody from Mexico, somebody from France, or anywhere? I got people all over the map because I'm Russell Trilingual, and that's what I'm about to talk about now. First of all, I'm going to tell y'all who I am. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about first. Turn this TV off. Okay, it's 90s. You look more like Jason Derulo. I look more like Jason Derulo. I do. India in the house. India in the house. Kendrick Lamar look-alike spotted. people saying I look like so many different people. Hello. So we doing the greetings now. Okay, so I'm looking over here because I got uh, a guide of what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm trying to stay on topic the whole way. Okay, of what I'm going to be talking about. So that's why you may see me pivot and look over here for a second because I gotta. You like this shirt? Look at that. Spring break 93. Yep. I'm going anywhere Cactus Cowboy VR2. Okay. Hello. Where you from, Ensign? Y'all tell me where you from. We're greeting everybody. This is Saturday Energy. This is how we starting out on Saturday. Saturday greeting everybody. Okay. So I'm gonna give y'all about 20 more seconds and then we're gonna start talking. Y'all a few more seconds. Billy Bean, okay. No, not no Chinese song now because we trying to stay on topic, right? We talking about different things. So I don't want to get off topic. We're not getting off topic today. All right, so let's get into the subject now. So first of all, I'm going to tell you who I am for the people that don't know me, okay? So I'm Russell Trilingual. I'm a black man. I live in Mexico. I've been living in Mexico for about 6 years almost. In March, it'll be my anniversary, which will be 6 years completed of living in Mexico. I came here a little bit before the pandemic, around March 10th, 2020 was the exact date that I moved to Mexico. I had visited Mexico before, first time 2015 in Monterrey, and then first time 2015 in Monterrey, and then I've been to Puerto Vallarta, and I've been to where else? Yeah, Monterrey, Puerto Vallarta, Oaxaca. I've been around there. So let's stay on topic. I see people come in stuff, but it's not on topic. Like on topic now. Okay. So as Russell Trilingual, who I am, like I said, I'm a black man. I speak English. I speak Spanish. I speak, I would say, intermediate French. That's what I speak. And the purpose of what I do is I dance. I mix language with culture. So you're going to see that on my page. You're going to see 90s nostalgia because I was raised in the 90s, even though I'm a late 80s baby. So that's what you're going to see on my page. And you're going to see that Southern swag because it's not common from what I've seen that somebody black from the South and from the hood actually can speak fluent Spanish and also speak French. Okay, so that's what I am. So if you're here for any one of those things, you're in the right place. For any of the ones I talked about, Russell Trilingual is the business side of my brand. Yeah, the business side of my brand is Russell Trilingual, right? Then we also have the vibe zone, which represents the nostalgia and the dancing. That's what it represents. And then we have, I call RT vibes. It's like my content, nostalgia. It ties into the same thing. Okay. So that's who I am, Russell Trilingual. And like I said, I live in Mexico. So, and I've been here almost 6 years. Okay. And like I said, I'm looking over here because I got certain things that I'm talking about and I want to make sure I'm on topic. Okay. So, first of all, I want to know, what are y'all working on this weekend? Is it gonna be rest or grind? Y'all gonna rest today or y'all gonna grind today? What y'all working on this weekend? Let's stay on topic, please, people. Like we got people that's coming things that's not on the topic that we're talking about today. So what I'm asking everybody directly at this time at exactly 9:04 in Mexico is, what are y'all working on this weekend? Are y'all resting or are y'all grinding? This is the question. Are you resting or are you grinding? Any comment that does not have to do with that does not fit into the live. Okay. Are y'all resting today or are y'all grinding? So you said you're gonna grind today. Okay, you're gonna help somebody out. Rest, okay. Your ego, rest your ego. If else, are you talking about those people in here? Yeah, yeah. Like I'm trying to stay on topic, like because it's a certain topic that I'm talking about. So you're gonna grind. Okay, so you grinding. Okay, so me today, to me every day is kind of like a grind for me. Yeah, I use skincare on my face. Yeah. I do use skincare on my face. But today is gonna be a grind for every day is a grind for me because of my mindset. Even if I feel like it's a rest, it's like a grind set because my mindset is always like, okay, let me put my brand out here. Let me, but it's still like a rest because I love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a grind rest because I can't. It feel like a risk because I love it. I love connecting with people. I love engaging with people, but it's also part of my brand. So it's like I'm doing both at the same time. I'm resting and I'm grinding. I'm resting because I enjoy what I love to do, but I'm grinding at the same time because I love what I love to do. I love French. I love Spanish. I love sharing the '90s, the nostalgia with people. So I'm kind of doing both of them. Yeah. So somebody said, what skincare do you do, babe? You look awesome. Oh, what I do is, man, y'all look, I was at first. I'm gonna just be step into this because this is interesting. Okay, at first I was using Clinique, y'all. At first I used to use that. And this I'm talking about for years I did, and then I got, man, it's too expensive. Like it's just to me, it's just crazy expensive to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? And I never thought of that. Like I was probably using it for like over 10 years at first. But it's just so expensive to constantly get it and then they give you so little. So I just started just right now it's a brand called I think it's Cosmx or something like that. Cos RX or something. So that's what I use right now. Okay. So you said I'm chilling today. I bet you never lost your. I don't know what that is. Okay, I'm chilling today. So all my Charlie last night. So just sort the Molly out for the college kids. Okay, so y'all chilling. So are y'all resting or grinding? This what we talking about now. Y'all resting or grinding. Some people say they grinding. Some people say they working. I say I'm doing both of them because I mean I really want to say I'm resting because me doing this live, it's like resting for me but then it's like grinding too because it's my brand, it's what I'm pushing. So I'm doing both of them today. It's like a rest grind or ever how you want to call it. I'm rest grinding. Restanding. I'm restanding. All right. So, and like I said, I'm looking over here because I got my points up of what I'm talking about. Okay. So we're using weekends to reset the direction. Okay. So why weekends are underrated for growth? That's what we want to talk about. Why are weekends underrated for growth? That's what we talking about. Why are weekends underrated for growth? Why? So I think weekends are underrated for growth because you want to party. Like I'm telling you, you want to turn up. Like that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to turn up. I like to listen to my music, get into my R&B. I don't like to work like that. On the weekends. I always like having my weekends off. I was offered a job and they wanted me to work weekends. They wanted me to work overnight. I'm like, man, I need my weekends to myself. So that's why it's over. I think it's because we've been programmed too to work Monday through Friday. And so since you programmed to work Monday through Friday, it's like your weekends, you automatically feel like it's underrated. Like I can't grow on the weekend because you working for somebody that's programmed your whole life to work Monday through Friday. And you used to just, okay, my weekends is for partying, right? But I'm gonna tell you, I'm the type of person I feel like I'm still grinding on the weekends. I'm still going on the weekends, even if I'm partying, because that's still part of who I am and what I represent is part of my brand. Being this happy, engaging person. So I still feel like I'm gonna turn that weekend party into a grind, either way it go. Because people love my personality, they love things. So I'm still gonna grind regardless of how it is. It's all about that mindset. It's all about your mindset and what you get in it. That's why I think weekend growth is underrated. Not because of what you do, it's because of your mindset or the way you think. That's why I think that the weekend growth is underrated. Y'all got any comments? Because you used to probably party and relaxing on the weekends, but like I say, your mindset, even if you party, could still be okay. I'm still gonna grow, you know. Like when I party, man, I'm gonna engage with people. Like when I go out and party, or if I party, I'm gonna be like posting videos and stuff for people seeing me. Like I party by myself too, post R&B videos, dance videos, and stuff. So that's why I think that the weekend growth is underrated because we program Monday through Friday, go to work, and then on Saturdays and Sundays you're supposed to rest. And all companies not even like that. Some companies want you to work on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, but I think it's the programming is why. Okay, I don't know if anybody else want to talk about that, but or comment on it. Y'all are welcome to comment on what I'm talking about, only what I'm talking about, only what I'm talking about. Y'all welcome to leave comments. So like I said, I think that weekend undergrowth is underrated because you used to working Monday through Friday. Yeah, and I put on here that 18 and over must be in here because I want people to be able to relate to what I'm talking about. I had some kids at one point came in and said they was like so young, and I don't have nothing against kids, but I just think the stuff I talk about is not on no kid level. So, definitely I welcome 18 and over into this chat room, into this right here. Okay, but not anybody else. So we're gonna stay on topic, y'all. Okay, and y'all be careful with the comments, y'all. Be cool. All right. So, like I said, I'm looking over here because I have certain things I'm talking about. So, we're going to talk about small habits and big plans. Small habits and big plans. That's kind of tying into what I was talking about at first when I said that, why is weekend growth so underrated? So, that's tying into what I was talking about. So, small habits. My small habit is I always watch something in French every day, no matter what it is, because me living in Mexico, I don't have a chance to really speak to people in French like that. So I try to just develop a small habit, watch a little series or something in French or whatever, just every day, even if it's 30 minutes to an hour. That's a small habit I do. I try to jump on my live at least every day to check in with the people. And like I say, every day because I'm trying to continue to grow my brand and continue to push it, continue to welcome people to be part of this community. What other small habit I got? Outreaching. I outreach people for my business. I call different clinics and offices and stuff like that. That's a small habit I got. And it helped me to keep my business growing. And my dance videos, small habit. I record a dance video almost about every day. So when people actually see the videos, they comment, they like, they engage. So this is just my small habits. Y'all welcome to comment on the topic as well. If you have small habits, but big plans, right? Then you comment on it. So my small habits contribute to my big plans, right? Eventually I want to have a steady clientele of people that need Spanish to English interpreting. I want to have even more followers that enjoy the entertainment wing of my content. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. So every like and every comment is a support to me and the dream of what I'm doing. So you just don't know how important you are to me. It's a lot of jobs you work for, they don't even say that. Don't even recognize you and things like that. But anyway, greetings from Mexico to Morocco. Okay, tu parles français, mon frère? Do you speak French? All right, so we're gonna pivot to language learning on the weekends. That's what we're gonna talk about now. So language learning on the weekends, it's a good time. If you off, you're not working, you can learn languages on the weekend. A lot of people have excuses to say that, I'm working, I'm always busy, but you can learn tout pour le faire. So how you say in French, you can do it. Tout pour le faire, tout pour le faire. You can do it. If you want to say in Spanish, you can do it. Tú puedes hacerlo. Si se puede. Like you can do it, right? So just find you a series or something, a TV show to watch on the weekends. You can do it. You can read a book. You can do just anything, long as I don't know if y'all want to learn one of the languages I speak. So you say I want to learn German in 3 months. Can I do it? I'm not gonna say you're gonna know everything, but yeah, you can definitely be a lot better with steady focus. You can be so much better now than well, then at 3 months, then you are today. Definitely. But a language definitely take longer than 3 months to master. But look here, Spanish is like the language I pretty much work in. French is just their passion language. Um, so you said hello, hello, what's up, Vira? So yeah, learn your languages on the weekends if you working during the week, because like I said, a lot of the times people fail at languages because they don't have time. B2 take time. In French, I may be like a B1, I would probably say. My French is not as good as Spanish, because obviously I live in Mexico. I've been here almost 6 years, so my French is just I can still speak it. Uh, I know talk. Yeah, je parle français. Je sais parler le français. Je suis que j'ai un niveau B1, je crois. Bonjour, tout le monde. Comment ça va? So I speak French, yeah, but I feel like my level probably like a good B1 or something, just to be honest with y'all. Comment vas-tu, mon frère? Je vais bien, et toi? Je vais bien, et toi? German is hard. Yeah, German is harder than French. So yeah, y'all take y'all time and y'all learn a language. Now I'm just only really representing Spanish and French and English. Those my brand languages. So I don't know if anybody interested in learning one of those, but if you are, go to russelltrilingual.com, which is a brilliant site. And I built it on my own, y'all. Okay, so let's talk about building something for yourself versus working for others. Let's talk. Okay, tu viens d'où? Tu viens d'où, mon frère? I said hello. Yeah, tu viens d'où? Tu viens d'où, mon frère? Okay, so let's talk about building yourself versus working for others. Okay, building yourself versus working for others. That's what we're talking about now. Building yourself versus working, which say parler un peu aussi mon avec éducation formelle seulement à lire. Ok, tu sais lire. Tu viens de Maroc. Ok. Enchanté, enchanté. Merci de commenter, de laisser les commentaires. Merci. Okay, so let's talk about building yourself versus working for others. Okay, I have worked for others most of my whole life. You said my French is so good. I have worked for others mostly. Hold on. I have worked. Let me see. Hey, my name is Fiber. Can you say Fiber, please? Because today is my birthday. Because I already subscribed. You can say that. Yeah, Fiber. I can say that. Yeah. Mi casa es muy grande. Okay. So let me see if you subscribe. I can see where y'all subscribed on here. So, let me see. I can see it on here. Yeah, I see you subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're gonna talk about now building something for yourself versus working for others. Okay. I work for others most of my whole life. And I'm sure maybe y'all have too. Like most of my whole life, I'm 37 now. I think I've worked for other people most of my whole life. Most of my whole life. And I feel like working for others has allowed me to build the skills that's necessary now to work for myself in order to build myself up. Yeah. So I've did that to build myself. Yeah, and I think working for others, it could take away from you building yourself up, because it depends on what you're doing though. But one thing I noticed is that regardless of where you work, it still gives you some type of skill, that you can use later for building yourself. So, for instance, like when I first started interpreting, I was interpreting in clinics when I first started. And yeah, independence is when you learn from others, right? I was working in the clinic, and my Spanish was okay at the time, but I learned a lot because a lot of Spanish speakers were coming in there and they needed somebody to speak Spanish, and I was a person to help them. So working for others helped me to build myself. I feel like if I didn't work for others, I wouldn't be able to build myself or to be where I'm at right now, because I won't have the certain skills and certain things um, in order to do it. Okay, so now we're going to talk about I'm gonna mention my interpreting hustle and brand building. So my interpreting hustle is very hard. It's very difficult. and I'm gonna tell you why. As you know, I'm a Spanish to English interpreter, right? So I'm actually in a position where I'm just building my business, and it's hard because of the visibility. I would probably say is the most hardest part about it, the visibility, and then because Spanish is so popular, like I outreach for my business, and a lot of times when I call different offices, people like, we got somebody that already speaks Spanish, we already use a certain line, so it's really hard to really break through that. But I feel like I have the confidence that a lot of people don't have, because a lot of people just so used to working for others that they don't really try to build themselves up because they so programmed to just doing that. You know what I'm saying? So you really would be surprised in 2026 how many people are actually scared to transition from working for somebody to building themselves up. It's a lot of people that, from my experience, I'm gonna say, it's a lot of people in 2026 that's still scared to make that move. They scared because of stability. It's scary. Like it's not, but the fact that I at least stepped out and I did it, I give myself a pat on the back. Because not everybody's just going to just call around and do that. Yes, they're scared their business, right? They scared, right? And I'm not gonna say I've never been scared or the fear doesn't over that I don't feel scared. Something I do, but at the same time, I feel like I would still prefer to know that I tried. You know, I would like to at least know that, like, wow, you at least tried. Like, I would not want to feel like, wow, I didn't try or I didn't put myself out there. But some people haven't even did that. And to me, that's really the biggest step. The biggest step is really, yeah, it's scary spending money in the business field, right? Yeah, I agree with you on that. So, we're gonna talk about how Saturday feel different mentally. How does Saturday feel different mentally? I mean, it's like no matter what, if I'm working for myself or if I'm, working for a company, I always just expect Saturdays to just be that just open, free feeling day. Like soon as I get up, I just feel like it's just like that. I just do what I want. I just can just let go. It just give me that feeling Saturday. Um, you said I can get a loan from the bank, but the project is not guaranteed. Right. The project is not guaranteed. Right. So people are looking for certainty and people are scared of the uncertainty. Right. So yeah, the Saturday mentality just hit different. I think about partying. I think about listening to my R&B music. I think about having me some drinks. This is just how Saturday hit, but I always got a mindset for growth, you know, because like I say, I dance. So this part of my production because I love to dance and Saturday is like my dancing, having this Saturday energy dance. That's part of who I am. So, but it just hit different. When it's a Saturday and I know it's a Saturday, it's just like, I'm finna lay back. I'm finna chill. I'm finna like listen to my music. I'm finna record. It's just a really open feeling. Like I don't know if y'all know what I mean or if y'all feel the same way. It's just like you can feel it, smell it, like yes. All right, so let's see where we are now. We're going to have a mini language segment. Right, getting the trust of clients is the hardest part, right? Because I've been calling around the places and people like they already got somebody. Normally the people in the offices be bilingual people. So, they would prefer to hire somebody bilingual that can do Spanish and English and that they can do the work instead of just hiring an interpreter. So they cut us out, when people do that, but it's just what they prefer to do. So this, like I said, it's very hard. Like I've been calling for about over a week, and a lot of people, like I say, just not really. I've got some warm answers where people say, we could probably use it, possibly, but it could be demotivating and draining too, because it's like you constantly call them and it's like, man, at least get one answer a day. But it's very, very, very difficult to do that outreach, Yeah. So we're gonna talk, we're gonna have a phrase in Spanish. So poco a poco se llega lejos. Little by little you go far. Poco a poco se llega lejos. Little by little you go far. So in Spanish, how do we say good morning? buenos dias. In Spanish, we say buenos dias. How do we say job in Spanish? Trabajo. Trabajo. So if we want to say job in Spanish, we say trabajo. How do I say I'm going to work? Voy a ir a trabajar. 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 That's what we say. How you say we're going to rest? We're going to rest in Spanish. Voy a descansar. Vamos a descansar is we're going to rest. Vamos a descansar. If you want to say voy a descansar, you say I'm going to rest. Right? So voy a descansar. You could also say reposar, like voy a reposar, because reposar also is another way that you can say I'm going to rest. How do you say I live in Mexico? You say vivo en Mexico. Vivo en Mexico. Wherever you live, you want to say vivo with that. Vivo in Los Angeles. Vivo in Memphis, Tennessee. That's how you say I live. How do you say I woke up today at 7 o'clock? Me desperté hoy a las 7. Me desperté hoy a las 7. So you say you feel Puerto Rican. Yeah, so me desperté because you're talking in the past tense. So me desperté, you got that, desperté a las 7. So that means I woke up at 7 o'clock. How do I say I woke up today at 7 o'clock? Hoy me desperté a las 7. Right. But if you want to say in the morning, because we're referring to in the morning, hoy me desperté a las 7 de la mañana. Hoy me desperté a las 7 de la mañana. So that's how you say it in Spanish. Y'all can go to my website if you want to learn from russelltrilingual.com. What else we could say? How do you say last night I went to bed at 10 o'clock? It's just an example. Anoche me dormí a las 10. Anoche me dormí a las 10. Okay, so you went to sleep at 10 o'clock last night. Anoche me dormí a las 10. Anoche me dormí a las 10. Right? Okay. How do I say I ate some wings last night? Anoche comí unas alitas. I ate some wings. Right? How do I say hot wings? I ate some hot wings last night. Anoche comí unas alitas picantes. So that's how you say it. So let's just switch to French. French now. So how do we say we don't give up? On ne lâche rien. On ne lâche rien. How do I say today I woke up at 7? Aujourd'hui, je me suis réveillé à 7 heures. Aujourd'hui, je me suis réveillé à 7 heures. So that's how you're going to say that I woke up today at 7 o'clock in French. Okay, how do you say last night I went to bed at 10 o'clock in French? Hier soir, je suis dormi à 10 heures. 10 heures. Exactly. So that's how you say it. Je me suis dormi à 10 heures. Hier soir. How do you say today? Did I say it? How do you say today? You wake up. I woke up at 7. Je me suis réveillé à 7 heures. Je me suis réveillé à 7 heures. How do I say I'm going to work in French? Je vais travailler. Je vais travailler. How do you say good night? Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Yeah, today means aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui means today. Yeah. I went to bed last night. Let me just actually check that because I said je suis. Let me see. I went to bed last night. How would they say? Did I say that right? Oh, I could have said je me suis couché hier soir. Yeah. Je me suis couché hier soir. That sounds better. Je me suis couché hier soir. So je me suis couché hier soir. So that means I went to bed last night. So you would say je me suis couché hier soir à 10 heures. À 10 heures. Okay, je me suis couché hier soir à 10 heures. 10 heures. Okay, how do you say a slang way to say job in French? You can say boulot. Boulot. Je suis au boulot. They mean I'm working. Je suis au boulot. So they mean I'm working in French. What else can we say in French? How do I say I'm from Memphis, Tennessee? Je suis originaire de Memphis, Tennessee, which means I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. How do I say I live in Mexico in French? J'habite au Mexique. J'habite au Mexique. So that's how I say it in French. J'habite au Mexique. Okay, so y'all get my trilingual swag, you know. Je suis originaire du Sud, which means I'm originally from the South. All right, so that we got the languages out the way. Next, we're going to talk about so slow motion is better than no motion. Let's talk about this. Slow motion is better than no motion. Y'all know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Slow motion is better than no motion. You said, am I American or Mexican? I'm originally American, but I've been in Mexico almost 6 whole years. So imagine, I have experienced the culture, I've experienced the language, and then even before I moved to Mexico, I was already speaking Spanish. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm American, definitely, but I feel so connected with just being in Mexico that it's almost like a Mexican American, almost the way it feels. Like if I could identify with anybody, it'd probably be a Mexican American because I've lived in Mexico, but then I also have lived a lot of my life in the US because the US is where I'm from. Do you want to go back to I can go back when I want to, like when I just visit. Like I don't want to go back and live. That's not something I want to do. But I go back and visit my family sometimes. Like I went in August of last year. I went there and visit them. I try to go as often as I can. Um, and what else we talking about? So yeah, we were talking about slow motion is better than no motion. So let's let that marinate for a while. Slow motion is better than no motion. Right. So I feel like me being like trying to build my brand with the different languages and the dancing and the nostalgia, me outreaching to different clinics and stuff. It's slow. It's slow. Like my subscribers have been growing very slow. My views have been going very slow. But it's been times where I'm like, man, I want to give up. I don't want to keep doing this. It's not gonna work. It's times I feel that way, and it make me want to just not do no motion. It made me want to just be like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I'm tired of it. I'm scared. Like they're not gonna like me. I'm black. They're not gonna appreciate me. I'm gonna be discriminated. I have had these thoughts that come in my head that make me want to just do no motion. No motion. Let's just shut it down. But because I can see a little growth, even though it's not really a lot at once, even if it's not a lot, I still am thankful, because I know this small growth would be impossible if I just did no motion. If I did no motion, I wouldn't even have people watching me this morning because I'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I just won't have that motivation. So I do a little every day. Same thing when you learn a language. When you learn a language, slow motion is better than no motion. So if you learn in Spanish or French or English, right? Even if you did a little bit every day, it's still better than doing nothing. It's still better than doing nothing. And I'm sure everybody in this room can agree with me. You're doing something, even if it's a little, it's just better than you not doing nothing. Even if you did succeed. To me, it's success just by doing something. Just by you doing something. Even just waking up in the morning, even just taking a walk. If you don't want to go and do a whole 2 hours or even an hour at the gym, you walking around the block, that's still slow motion because you slowly still building on yourself. Yeah, success is not quitting. Right. Success is not quitting. That's exactly what, because you still continue to build, even if it's slow. And now I'm gonna be honest with you. I have got very discouraged when I'm like, man, I want to get 5,000 followers right now. Or man, I want to like get this job right now. Or I want my business to be success tomorrow. I want to have it tomorrow. I get impatient sometimes, but I look back and I say, you know what? Somebody asked about my Spanish class yesterday. You know what? Somebody asked, did I teach French? You know what? Somebody asked me, you know, you live in Mexico, how you like it? So I still look at okay, there's potential growth. When I call out to the clinics and the places I'm outreaching to, I might not get nobody to say yes, right? But okay, they recognize who I am. Now they recognize me, they recognize me. They know I got a website now. That's all small growth. It may not be right in your face, but the fact that it's slow motion is still better than no motion. Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all follow me on this. Y'all follow me in the back. Say it for the people in the back. I felt depressed while learning German, but don't ever quit, Right. Don't ever quit. Same thing with the followers and stuff with the social media we live in today. It's like, man, I want to have 100,000 followers. I want to have 200,000 followers. If I get one follower in this video doing this live, I'm happy because it's still motion. Slow motion better than no motion. I love the topic. Slow motion is better than no motion. And I'm sure people have thought about giving up before at times. They've thought about giving up on whatever it might be. It could be school, it could be just whatever, but slow motion is better than no motion, y'all. I don't think nobody can argue that. Okay. So so y'all can comment like translations in French, Spanish, or whatever. You're welcome to write something in Spanish or English on here. I speak Spanish, English, and I speak French, so you're welcome to do that. So now we're going to talk about building confidence speaking languages, and that's just what you said. You said that while you learning German, you'll never give up. Okay, so one thing I want to tell y'all is a lot of the times confidence is really the main thing you need. When you're learning a language, when you're learning Spanish, when you're learning French, or whatever language you're learning, confidence is going to be the key thing you need. The key thing. They don't teach that to you in school, but I'm not a textbook type teacher. That's one thing that makes my brand different. I'm not a textbook type teacher. You're going to get that southern flavor. You're going to get the magic. You're going to get that energy. You're going to get it because I know how it is. Like, I don't follow the school system. It's just their system. I just don't. It's not my thing. I'm not a textbook type person. So, in order to build a confidence, what I do in Spanish, what I did was I took advantage of that by being in the United States, that I had easy access. I took advantage of it. And I felt that I wanted to be different from the people in my household because I'm black. I'm a black man, and I wanted to stand out. Because in my town, I never seen no black people speak Spanish. If I seen a black person speak Spanish, it wasn't really fluent. They maybe knew like certain words, certain short phrases, and the common things. But I said I really want to be different. So that young 20-some-year-old was like, you know what? I want to learn. I want to definitely get on this. I definitely want to really lock down on it because I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity that I'm living in the US at the time, right? I was living in the US. And I'm like, I'm going to make sure that I learn Spanish. And actually, it's a true story that I was laid off from a job in 2000. You growing up different from your hood, right? I'm growing up different from the hood I was in. Like, for them seeing a black man that speaks Spanish fluent like that was a thing. I'm sure it's probably still a thing. But at the time, like I say, I was younger, right? I was living with my aunt at the time. This was in 2009. I was working at a call center, and I didn't understand Spanish like that. I knew a couple things and stuff like that, but I said, you know what? I want to learn Spanish because I want to say some bad things to my aunt. I grew up in an overprotective, sheltered type of family. And my aunt would always yell about just everything that I wasn't doing. You didn't clean up. You didn't. Why you doing this? It just was just nagging type, just yappy, very loud all the time. Like, imagine it all the time. She was very yappy, and I'm not talking about when I was just maybe 10 or 11 or something like that. I'm talking about in my 20s. Okay, she was still kind of very yappy, and I said I'm gonna learn Spanish and I'm gonna say something bad to her, and she's not gonna know what I'm saying, so she can't get mad at me, you know. And I was doing it like at 18 and 19. I was just saying bad stuff to her, and she didn't know, and she'd get mad because she didn't understand what I was saying in Spanish. So that built up my confidence for me to want to learn because I feel like I'm different. And then every room I walked into, um, people were so surprised to see me. I would get looks because when I would go to my interpreting appointments in person, they expected somebody Hispanic to show up. But I'm black. I'm a black man showing up. So it was like, they felt like I wasn't good for the job. And then I also have talked before too, because I worked as an interpreter in the clinic where a lot of Hispanics would see me in because aesthetically, of course, I don't look like I'm no Mexican, aesthetically, like the typical Mexican, right? The traditional Mexican. I don't look aesthetically like that. So they would sometimes just be like, you know what, I want a Spanish speaking person, even though a lot of times skill wise, I was better than a lot of the native people. Because see, the thing about it is, you might know English and Spanish as a native, but interpretation is a whole different field. You got to know the terminology in each field. You got to know the terminology in the medical field. You have to know the terminology in the legal field. Just because you native does not make that a default. You being a native Spanish speaker is not going to by default make you know words and phrases that are on a medical level, that are on a legal level. You have to study that. There's a whole different specialization that you have to have, but people were very ignorant where I come from. They would think that just because my skin was black, that skill wise, that I didn't know how to speak Spanish. Skill wise, I was cleaning a house. I'm gonna tell you, if this was a competition skill wise, I was Hispanic people was asking me how to say words in Spanish that were terminology, right? I'm not gonna lie. Somebody had asked me one time how to say gallbladder in Spanish. Now, this person that I used to work with was Hispanic descent, right? But he grew up in the hood in America. He didn't really know Spanish like that. He didn't. He understood. I'm not gonna take that away from him. But when it came down to very technical, high register stuff, he didn't know. One time he asked me how to say gallbladder in Spanish. Vesicula, la vesicula. That's how you say it. He didn't know how to say it. But because in the clinic they seen I was black, they thought that physically the people that were Hispanic, they thought they were better than me. Skill wise, I was cleaning the house with Spanish. Skill wise, you couldn't even touch me with a 10-foot pole. A lot still can't. And it may sound like I'm bragging, but that's a true reality. Right. The person was American like I was, but because aesthetically on the outside, because they were Hispanic, people would ignore me at times and feel like even though I spoke Spanish, they didn't want me to help them. I'm not saying everybody, but I had some people like that, y'all, growing up. Growing up in my early 20s, working at this clinic, people thought just because I was black that I didn't understand, I didn't speak Spanish. When I say I would clean the house, I was cleaning the house with Spanish. Like, couldn't nobody touch me because I made sure I studied. I made sure I was on it. Made sure I was going to las posadas, las fiestas. I was going to the parties, everything. Like, I'm trying to immerse myself. I had my phone in Spanish. I used to get mad when people speak to me in English because I'm like, man, I want to learn Spanish. So, yeah. So that's building confidence in language. That lasted a long time. I'm talking about this for a long time, building confidence. But that's how I build confidence because like I said, I want to stand out because I'm black, right? I want to stand out. And then just by me wanting to connect with people in a different way, that was my confidence. Wanting to be different was pretty much my confidence and just having that passion. All right. What's y'all confidence when it comes to learning a language? Like, if you learn a language, what is your confidence to make you feel like, okay, I want to do this. I could do this. Like I said, I was cleaning the house, and then with French, I didn't comment about that. I wanted to stand out even more because I felt like, okay, so many people speak Spanish, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm finna switch this, and then like in Mexico, a lot of people just automatically thought I was Haitian. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure, because I already spoke French. The French I speak when I came to Mexico, I already knew. It's probably got like a little better than then, definitely. But I'm like, okay, you think I'm Haitian? Well, I'm gonna speak French then. I'm gonna confuse you even more. So it's just loving it, just being loving culture. Loving culture just in general has made me confident in learning the language that I learned. Okay. So we're gonna talk about making money with skills. It's gonna be the next topic. We spending a lot of time on different topics, but it's interesting. It's interesting. So we're gonna talk about making money with skills. Making money with skills is what we're gonna talk about. Y'all come on in and like the video. Y'all subscribe. We're talking about making money with skills. Y'all making learn something. Y'all probably, if you're laid off and you ain't got a job or whatever, you just trying to make some money with some skills, we're going to talk about that now. If you don't want no money, you ain't got to be in here, okay? If you do not want money, you don't have to, I can understand, right? If you prefer to spend money. But I'm going to give you a personal Personally, this is free. I'm not charging. I'm a language coach. That's one thing I do. I'm a language coach. I'm not charging people to come in here. It's free knowledge, personal knowledge from myself as a person. Okay. If y'all prefer to pay, then y'all could pay somebody, but I'm giving this well, it's really not free. Let's put it like that, because it requires my time for me to be here. So it's technically not necessarily exactly free, exactly for me, exactly. But I feel like it's free because I love it. When you love something, it just feels natural. So, but if we wanted to look at it from a business perspective, it's time, right? It's time. But it actually helps me to grow as a business. It helps you to grow as your knowledge. So it's like a even exchange, I hope. I mean, it's only an even exchange if people find it valuable. You know what I'm saying? If people are here because there's some type of value, even if it's 1%, 2%, whatever type of value, if you hear if it's value to you, it's better. Okay, this means we got a mutual understanding of what we're doing. We got a mutual understanding of what's being represented. So there's no misrepresentation. It is what it is. Direct. Okay, money, making money with skills. I make money interpreting. So I speak Spanish. I speak English. Right now, they call me. I work as a freelancer. So I service other vendors. I service a vendor's clients. So that's how I make money. So I work from home. Right now, I work from home, and different places call, sometimes schools, sometimes clinics. I just get a lot of different interests. Even sometimes legal type calls, like hearings and things like that. And I do that from home, and I use it to make money. So if you learn Spanish, you can make money doing that. But you got to know Spanish, and you got to take an interpreting course. You got to take an interpreting course, and then that's the way you can make money. And you can also do that freelance. You can do that independently for your own business. Like right now, I'm just trying to get customers for my own business. I'm actually on Fiverr too. I'm on Fiverr. That's a website. So I get on there. I didn't got like a couple assignments on there, and it's like I just don't like the Fiverr take commission. They take commission, but if I can get more clients on there, it would be better than me working, doing the freelance that I'm doing from home. It will be better because I can control my clientele at that point. My site is the goal though. My site is to get so many people that need my services, so I can just transition completely from freelancing and Fiverr and just work only just for myself. So that's my thing. So like I said, if you want to make money learning, with these learning Spanish or French, I don't think it's a lot of demand. It's not really a lot of demand for French, unfortunately, and I really hate that it's not, because Spanish is like the number one language. French is just it's just not a lot of demand for it. Like interpreting, and it's just not a lot, but it's still there. Some people do need French interpreters. And then you can teach. So you can teach. So I teach Spanish, and I teach French. So those are ways that you can make money. Like, and I'm just talking about for languages, right? Or you can do any other thing freelancing, that you can monetize, but the grind is very slow because, like I say, people don't trust all the time. So it takes time, definitely, definitely. But like I said, I prefer to try and fail than to never try at all. All right, let's move on. So fear of starting. We're going to talk about the fear of starting, y'all, too. What made me scared to start was that stability, having a full-time job at one point, and then transitioning to work for myself is scary. And then you don't have no clientele. It's hard to get people to trust you. So that was my fear of starting at first. And believe it or not, me being black, that has kind of stood in my way at times, because I'm like, I don't want to do this because they're going to discriminate me. They're going to think I don't speak Spanish because I'm black. They're going to perceive me different. I'm scared what they're going to think. So I had a lot of fear of really starting for the longest. And then I also think that when you work at certain jobs, like it was this company I used to work for, and I felt like when I look back, it was really mentally abusive of things that they did, and it made you feel like, oh, I gotta stay here. I don't want to leave. I don't want to lose it, because what would happen was me working as an interpreter over the phone, people would complain sometimes about things that were just part of my job, that I was just doing to, even though they were calling me, for the service and things like that, they would start the conversation off where you obviously could tell there was some type of attitude or some type of resentment in their voice. They would start off, you could just feel the energy over the phone. And if I was to ask for repetition, which interpreters sometimes got to do over the phone, they would call the company and complain about my services. And with the company that I worked for, they were very abusive. It was very toxic. So you get any complaint, the customer is always right. Like their client is always going to be right, and it counts as a strike against you, unfortunately. Yeah, and they threaten a lot of times to suspend my account. So them doing it made me feel scared to start my own business. It made me feel scared for so long because I felt like it wasn't possible. I'm getting these complaints, and it makes me feel maybe I'm not good enough because they writing me up for this. But you gotta understand they don't care nothing about that. They do not care nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? When you working like that, they don't care like nothing. Like they do not, literally do not. And the sooner you realize that, you're not gonna be afraid to start no more. And that's what made me get over my fear of starting, because I realized, okay, they really truly don't care about me from a perspective personally, or a perspective for me to have success. They don't care because they so busy trying to get their own success or money, 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 profit margins. That's all that matters. So once I figured that out and learned it, I'm not gonna be afraid of starting, because really I already started, but I'm starting for the wrong person. Right, because if I'm working for their business, I'm building your dream. If I'm working for my business, I'm building my dream, regardless of the money, okay? Because they can fire you anytime. All right, so that what made me get over my fear of starting. You said you knew me. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button then. Yeah, get over that fear. Get over the fear to start. Because you realize you working for a company, you doing the same thing. You just put energy into them and not energy into yourself. Once I realized that, I'm like, my mindset, this everything, mindset. All right, let's talk about discipline versus motivation. Let's talk about that now. All the people, y'all share, subscribe. Discipline versus motivation. Okay, to me, discipline is being consistent. Being consistent is discipline. That requires discipline. When I first started calling out different people to my business, like different outreaching and things like that, it requires discipline. Because when people constantly say no, we don't need nobody, or we already got a service, it can burn out. It can drain on you at times. It can make you feel drained, but you still have to have motivation to keep going. What motivates me to keep going? Let's look at other games. Let's look at other wins. Okay, I'm doing something that people still scared to do. That's motivation in itself. I'm still doing something that other people would not dare to do. That's number one. Number two, I'm still doing something that where I can be recognized. They may be saying no, but you still gonna know that Russell called. You still gonna know that, hey, this guy, he called. Okay, that's gonna keep me motivated. You still gonna at least know about my information, about my website. You're gonna know about my great, good personality, my good character. You're gonna know about my authenticity. So that recognition still, to me, continues to motivate me. Everybody's not gonna say no. Somebody's gonna say yes. Somebody's going to have a pleasant attitude when they get on the phone and say, like, oh, thank you for telling me about your service. So that's motivation. The motivation is knowing that what I'm doing holds value. That's the motivation. The discipline is me being consistent and me constantly doing it and never giving up. It takes discipline to never give up, y'all. To never give up, it takes discipline. Right. Do y'all agree? It takes discipline for you to never give up. Because when people don't see the results that they want to see, like today, tomorrow, or 24, 48 hours, they don't see the results. They want everything fast. And that's why people settle sometimes for stability, like which is some of these full-time jobs, people work those because it gives them some type of stability, right? But at the same time, you got to have discipline no matter what you do. You have to have a disciplined mindset. Just period. That's how I feel. Right. Y'all can comment related to the topic. I see a lot of comments that's not related to what I'm talking about. I honestly do not want that in my chat room. I do not want comments that's just completely unrelated to the topic, that does not have nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And that's what I gotta have discipline. I have to have discipline for these trolls. I have to have discipline for people that's coming off topic. I have to have a disciplined mindset in order to continue to feel motivated. What continues to motivate me? The people that are connected to what I'm talking about, the topic, and the people that share the same values and the same similar goals. Right, that which motivates me. Trolls are, you gotta have discipline. You gotta have discipline when people insulting you. When people putting comments on here that's insulting, you have to have discipline to deal with that. My motivation is gonna come from the people that's on here that's really participate in what I'm saying. I'm from the United States. I'm originally from the United States. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. All right. So we're gonna talk about now my we're gonna talk about my weekend routines. This we're gonna talk about now. My weekend routines. And y'all can give me y'all weekend routines too. Yeah. Give me your weekend routines. Give me your, if you want to comment on your weekend routines, what you do, let's comment on it. So normally what I do on the weekends is I work from home. So I do a little work on the platforms because I'm a freelance interpreter, right? But this company is late paying me, like they delayed in payment. So I'm like, I'm not gonna work right now until they get this situated. Okay. So there's one thing. But I normally get up, I interpret, I cook me some breakfast, I'll cook me some breakfast. Um, then I probably like watch some in fridge. Sometimes I do a little exercise, and then well later at night I have me a drink. I have me a drink late at night and listen to some music, some R&B music. And then I dance, and that's really my Saturday routine. And yeah, that's what I do. And then I just, like I said, I do my live like I'm doing now. I do that on a Saturday. That's part of my routine. So yeah, that's basically like a Saturday for me. Sometimes I might get out or something like that. So I'm thinking about getting out today. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all now a short personal story. That's what I'm gonna do. Tell y'all a short personal story. This is personal. This is my story. Y'all comment, let me know y'all still there. Signs of life. I need some signs of life on here. I'm gonna tell y'all a short personal story from me. Personal story. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe so y'all can know, when I'm gonna go live. Activate the bell. I'm gonna now tell you a personal short story. A personal short story. Where y'all from? We still here. We still here. The other stream I watch. I'm good, Big Wheel. Yeah, how you doing? So I'm gonna tell y'all a short personal story. A short personal story. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Are we ready for the short personal story? Short personal story. It feels good to be recognized. Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all a short personal story. Thanks, man. I don't really see anybody comment on what I'm asking. Go on. Okay, so my short personal story was at a very young age I wanted to move to Mexico. Like we talking about probably somewhere in my 20s, I always had dreamed about doing it. And in 2019, I was sort of kind of feeling like, man, I want to leave and I want to go to Mexico. And I was so a huge part of my life. I listened to my family. My family always was so boxed in. They don't believe. You know how black folks is. You ain't coming over my house if I don't know who you is and stuff. Just cautious and very. But they didn't want me to come to Mexico. They felt like I was crazy. Okay, my brother told me go to therapy because something is wrong with you. No lie. He said something was wrong with me for me thinking like that. And that's what he said. That was in 2019. Even though I had been dreamed about saying, I really want to go to Mexico. He was like, Russell, don't do that. Don't move to Mexico. And he felt like it was a quick decision. Yes. He felt like it was a quick decision. He said, do not go because it's dangerous. You shouldn't go. Um, do not go. It's a third world country. And he said that if you decide to go, I would not be comfortable until you get a therapist. Right. He told me that I needed to get a therapist in order to make sure my mind was okay. Because he said I was make right. I swear, y'all, this is a real story. And I felt offended a little bit about it because I felt like I wasn't supported. It's like I didn't feel like I was supported because I'm like, why would he say I need some help? Yeah, he literally said I needed some help and that I needed to reach out to a therapist. And this was around Christmas, close to Christmas of 2019. So I was like, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just find a therapist so my brother could feel comfortable. Right. And when he was telling me not to go, it wasn't just like, just don't go. Like, it was like a parent coming down on you very hard, like somebody really, being very adamant about telling you not to go, like, like trying to instill fear in you. Like, that's how the tone of him telling me not to go sounded, not supportive, nothing at all. Please don't go. Like, no, I'm telling you. So what I ended up doing was I found a therapist. I called a few different people. And I'm gonna tell you how obsessed I am with languages and Spanish. I was literally trying to call a therapist that spoke Spanish because I only wanted to speak Spanish. So I found a therapist, and the therapist told me some very valuable knowledge. She said, live your best life. That was the most valuable knowledge that she had gave me. She said, live your best life. That's what she said. And it stuck with me. It stuck with me ever since then. And she told me that, don't listen to your brothers. She even wanted to have a session with my brothers too, to pretty much tell them, they think I'm gonna tell you not to go, but I'm gonna make sure you go. She said, live your best life. That she said, and then she also said that they live in their life, like they doing what they doing. They doing them. So she said, you need to do you, because they already doing them. And she said, they ain't got no choice but to follow you in the way because, if they really love you and really, appreciate you, then they'll be. No, I'm not seeing her no more. I'm not seeing her no more. I was seeing her, but the most valuable thing she gave me, she said, live your best life, is what she told me. And she was just unbelievably, just incredibly over supportive, like just on a level to where, man, it was like, she was very supportive. And even when I got here, she was still talking to me. We was having our conversations, I think a session like once or twice a week or something like that. And she was telling me, just guiding me through and just telling me, live your best life. That's what she said. And in 2020, I got the courage to just come to Mexico and to live. Yeah. And I had my remote job. I'm still working remotely. And it's just like when I'm in hard times, I always go back, live your best life. That's what she told me. Live your best life. So there's a personal story that I wanted to share with y'all, because I got the courage to eventually come when, like I say, it was looked down upon with my family. They looked down on it. They didn't think it was good for me, But it's 6 years ago that happened. It's about 6 years ago. And look, I'm here. Trilingual. Yeah, so I'm here. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. So now we're going to reflect on something that you learned this week, something I have learned this week. We're going to reflect on it. Who we still got here? Y'all subscribe. We're going to talk about what I learned this week. It could be anything I learned. Anything you learned. Anything you learned this week? Anything? Comment on anything that you have learned this week. Something that you learned. It could be you just found out that I had a YouTube channel. It could be you just learned that I speak 3 languages. It could be that you learn a new word in a new language. It could be something that you learn about people behavior or a certain pattern that you have seen. Can somebody name something new that they learned this week in it? We're going to be wrapping up the session pretty soon. I mean, we got like a little bit longer to go, but I'm only focusing on comments that's related to what I'm asking. Anything that's outside of that will not be answered, okay? So unless it's something, I guess, motivating or something, a question about me or about something, it could be something like that. But anything, anybody that can reflect on something that you learned this week and they can comment, it could be anything you learned this week, anything that you have learned this week. Anything Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It could be just what did you learn? Like, did you learn a new dance move? Did you learn a new word in a new language? Did you learn, like, it could just be anything that you have learned. We want to hear that. We want to know what is something you learned this week. Okay, I'm trying to kind of sort of give people time so I can engage in because I do these lives because I want to engage with people. I want to engage with people. I want to see how people thinking. I want to see that. So y'all let me know. So is there something new that you learned this week? You learned that approximately 10% of power outages are caused by squirrels. Okay, that's interesting that you learned. I appreciate it. That's interesting. Anybody else want to comment? Anything that you learned this week? Uh, anything, anything that you have learned. Okay, anything that you learned this week. It could be. We only got one person that responded. What about you, Big Wheel? Is there anything you learned new this week? Big Wheel. We got 4 people watching. The 4 people watching, y'all comment anything that you have learned this week. Anything. Okay, so let me just say what I learned. What I learned this week was more about the pattern of how the interpreting industry work. And when it comes down to me outreaching out to people, I learned it. I learned really how it really works. So like I said, a lot of the times people trying to save money and they don't want to always hire an interpreter when they can hire a person that speak 2 languages and then they also can do whatever administrative tasks. So why would they hire an outside interpreter? So I sort of kind of knew that, but I feel like this week it really hit different. Me calling out to different clinics and stuff. I got what's up, Rayon Shinik. Have you learned anything this week? Can you tell us something you learned this week? It says Spring Break 93. Best LMT Spring Break 93. Y'all comment anything that you have learned this week. So, like I said, I've learned that a lot of people trying to save money and cut costs, and they don't recognize the value of interpreting. That's what I learned. A lot of people don't recognize the value, and like I said, they want to save money. They want to have somebody in house that speaks Spanish, and I've learned that that's what they do. And then there's some people don't even want to hire the services, you know. So I really learned it. Like I said, I sort of kind of knew it, but I feel like I learned it in a way that it hit different this weekend. So I learned it this week. So we don't have nobody to comment anything else on what they've learned this week. No one else is commenting on it. Okay, so I'm gonna share one mistake. So let's just say one mistake. One mistake. I'm gonna share one mistake with y'all that I made. A mistake. Oh, now this kind of hard. Let me see a mistake I've made. Oh, okay. I look at early on when I first started, like the journey of trying to be an interpreter and doing that. But I look at a mistake as a lesson at the end of the day. So one mistake I made one time was I had this hourly position that I had, and I used to pay $13 an hour. But but as an interpreter, you make more than that. As an interpreter, you don't make just no 13. 13 is very, very low. And that was in 2019. So what I did was it was another position that paid 40 cents a minute, right? It paid 40 cents a minute. So that would have been $24 an hour. And I took the position that was paying 13 because I was scared that like I needed something that was gonna pay me every hour that every hour that I was available. right? Because they was gonna pay me every hour I was available regardless. So I felt like, um, like, wow, they paying me 13. So I'm gonna just take that out of fear. So I took that job out of fear for a minute, for a short period of time. But on the other with the other job, I would have been making more money. So I just quit that one and I took the other job. So that was one mistake that I made, and I learned a lesson from it. Like, man, you gotta know your value. And I feel like a lot of times I didn't really know my value as a person. And if you don't know your value, believe me, people are gonna know it and they're gonna take advantage of it. Believe that. You better believe it when you see it. Like, by you not knowing your value, people are gonna know it, even if you don't know it, and they're gonna take advantage of that. I can go down a few situations where people have did that. And it's like with the bilingual roles. They want you to be bilingual, they want you to interpret, and they also want you. It was one time I worked at this clinic, right? You trilingual too? Nice to hear that. So it's a time that I worked at this clinic, and I didn't notice they was using me until later on, right? Because it was a job where I was a receptionist at the front desk, like a clerk, and then I also when they needed to call me to interpret, I would go in the back, like interpret for different people. I speak English, Spanish, and French. Yeah, so I would go and I would interpret with different people. What I ended up finding out was that I was supposed to be getting paid more. I was supposed to be getting paid for as an interpreter, and I was supposed to also be getting paid as a receptionist. There's two different roles. But what they secretly did was made it one role and just paid me $13, I think, at the time. Yeah, it was just that one role. So they made it one role and they had me doing two different things. But as an interpreter, you're supposed to get paid a different thing. Because I'm working only as an interpreter now and I get paid for interpreting. But they was trying to they did do that. So there was a mistake. And my lesson that I've learned was know your value. So they knew my value, but they took advantage of it by not paying me for both roles. Right? Okay. So we're gonna recap. So the key message in this is steady progress. Y'all subscribe if y'all not subscribed. So this is and my live is for 18 and over, y'all. Like 18 and over is my live for, is for really 18 and over. Just to let people know. When did you no, I don't know that. Yeah, so yeah, the recap of this is steady progress. So we have talked about a few different things. We talked about just using your weekends for a reset. We've talked about learning languages. We've talked about knowing your value. So um my takeaway from this is really just being steady no matter what you do. You really cannot lose. Remember what I said, slow motion is better than no motion, no matter how you put it. And I'm sure people can agree with that on slow motion. Remember that in your head. Somebody said advice on turning 17. You young, you young. Slow motion is better than no motion. So just keep that in your head always. Whenever you're thinking about giving up, as long as you see some type of progress, keep going. Keep going. Progress, personal goals, steady progress. And I invite y'all to follow me. I'm inviting people right now to follow me. I'm inviting people to check out my website, russelltrilingual.com. I'm inviting everyone to follow me right now. If you are interested in this type of vibe, which is the 90s vibe, the dancing, the languages, I invite you to follow. Hit that follow button, y'all. Hit the follow button. Anybody that's interested, if you love nostalgia, 90s music, dance, anything of that nature, if you love languages, culture, this is the channel for you. This is the channel for you. I try to go live almost every day. Um, mostly every day I try to go live. Okay, so I'm trying to check in. Do we got Big Wheel still here? Do we got Germany? Is Germany still here? I don't know who's here. I mean, we got a couple people, but check out the site russelltrilingual.com. On there, you can find where you can sign up to learn French. You can sign up to learn Spanish. You can sign up for Spanish to English interpretation services from me. So it's a direct service that I provide directly for me. I also have a vibe zone section on there where you can actually, I mean, it's just something fun. Like it's got like 90s things on there, like 90s stuff. And then it's talk a little bit about the 90s, personal, and then it's got like a link to my YouTube videos where I dance. It's just a small section on there, like the vibe zone. It's like the entertainment part of my channel and my brand. It really is. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, this pretty much is it for today. I mean, not really much. That's it for today. I mean, the live has been pretty good today. And do y'all have any comments or anything related to the topic I talked about today? Anybody have any comments related to it, or not? I don't know if anybody. Okay, so I just want to say enjoy your Saturday, y'all. But I mean, don't forget. I mean, future is built on what you do today. So your future is built on what you do today. Y'all enjoy y'all Saturday. I thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it, and you can go back and watch this live if you want to go back and watch it. I don't know if I'm gonna go live again today. I don't really know. I mean, I've been here, and I appreciate the people that participated. Um, yeah, that's all I got to say, y'all. So y'all take care and y'all have a good day. I appreciate it. I'll be on tour. I'll be on tour. Hasta luego.